these books were imported. So the proprietors of Academy realized this as a need to create a befitting printing press, and that was why Academy came to be. But all along, we have made it a trend to always retool and update our equipment, keep up with the technology, acquire the best of equipment, and also best practices in the process of printing.
During periods where you would say that Academy Press didn't have a good time, what factors would you say were responsible for those periods?
We had realized the need to continue to retool, and that is the way that we have gone. And you know, in retooling, you need finance, you need capital. So the inability of Academy to cope was not actually for lack of will on our own part. The finance windows became constrained. Inability to obtain capital, to obtain finance, actually affected the agenda to continue to retool. So that created that problem of vacuum in capacity, and we didn't meet up because of the finance problem. We have been all along been financing the growth and retooling from our own internally generated resources, and also with support from some of our partner commercial banks. But it was actually coming in trickle. For 6 years, we were doing something, getting one equipment after the other. But as we are doing that, the demand and the growth of the market was ahead of us, so it was not making the right impact until we are lucky to get the Bank of Industry intervention. And what we got at a go was as much as what we were able to do on our own and the partner commercial banks in 6 years. So it was a leap, a jump within that year.
One of the visions of Academy Press when it was established 50 years ago was to ensure that books that were used in Nigeria, especially academic books, were printed here. 50 years on, would you say that that mandate has been fulfilled?
In terms of the success of this intention, we will say that we have had it very good in the past, but you know, as the population continues to grow, the demands also continue to grow. And for our attitude in Nigeria, we don't plan far in advance. We want to execute our plans immediately instead of having a long time period to do that. What we've seen is a situation where at a time we were able to meet substantially the demands of the market.
One can safely assume that when this organization started operations, there would be some technical gaps in terms of needing expatriates when you bought those new machines and when you wanted to operate at a global standard, and knowing full well that you didn't exactly have the requisite experience locally at that time. Can you compare the level of expatriates or the number of expatriates that you had at that time to what now operates in your organization?
The good thing about that actually had to do with the promoters of Academy Press in those days. It was actually a partnership between Nigeria and some foreign personality. There was a major player from America, the United States of America. There was also a major player from Canada and also from Britain. So the idea of using expatriate in those days was part of the beginning of Academy. These people were actually part of operation, and they were able to get the best of technical people to man the operation of Academy in those days. We had technicians from Germany and also from South Africa to start with. So we have always had technical support from abroad. And also, the good thing is that along the line, our own local staff are continuously being trained to the extent that we are able to go alone on our own at some point in time, just with having visitation from some of the expatriates.
Can you tell me about the teething problems that you had when you started?
Well, our capacity has actually doubled. But not only that, some of the processes have been improved upon, because these are equipments that are of modern technology. Some of the manual operations have been have come with technology that you don't have to depend on your manual knowledge or skill to be able to carry them out.
What is the current market demand and how much of that are you meeting?
Yes, we have capacity to take on the entire demand as at the time that we got the equipment. But like I said, the demand is growing every day, and we may be probably a little bit short, but we are substantially have the capacity to cope with the demand of the market.
When did you approach the Bank of Industry?
I must say that the Bank of Industry window did not actually believe that we could succeed in getting the facility because it's a government institution, and one thing that is peculiar to government institution seems to be that you have to be connected to be able to access the support. But good 18, we had some prompting from our board that we should give it a try. So we approached the bank, and we got a request of information that we need to provide. And we did that. We received clarification need, which we also did. And before you know it, we are actually moving to the level of approval of the facility. And just the condition of fulfilling that approval that was left. And we got over that. And here we are. We have the fund. We also had our equipment.
Now, I'd like you to compare the process or your experience getting loans from the Bank of Industry to what obtained when you were dealing with the regular commercial banks.
In terms of the process, the demands of the Bank of Industry appears to be less strenuous for us than the commercial bank, because the commercial banks tends to have even more than 200% cover assurance that you are going to be able to repay. In addition to that, the commercial banks terms is more onerous than that of the Bank of Industry in terms of the tenor and also the rate. So I would say that the Bank of Industry process was a lot easier for us to achieve than the commercial bank. In actual fact, I think it's the fastest that we've had in terms of a major facility approval.
How many people are employed here?
We have as much as 320 regular permanent staff. But because of the nature of the business, you can have upsurge. You can experience upsurge in your operation, and when you do that, you need to get some temporary workers. So on the whole, we can say that we are having about 500 workers. Yeah.
And if you have recommendations for the Bank of Industry, what would that be?
First, I will want to say that they are doing a good job. We want them to know that they are fulfilling their purpose. Industry like us, we are happy and we are excited in what they have been able to do for us. And we believe that if such is extended to other companies in the productive sector, the country will be the better for it. And I don't know whether the Bank of Industry can also be the receiver of message for the federal government, so that I can also pass a message. I talk about the supporting industries like the paper mills that we don't have any. The government should look into reviving those paper industries and also creating one. Nigeria is a high consumption, paper consumer, and we have no business continue to commit huge foreign exchange earning to importation of paper. It's better we look at producing locally and also producing the other materials too, like the ink, like the glue. And I also want a situation where, as the government is looking inwards, the government should also encourage its agencies to also look inwards in patronizing the local producers in the printing industry. What I believe a banking institution should do is what the Bank of Industry is doing, because we need to develop industrially. We also need to support our existing industry. But what we've been having is short of what can actually, like I said, for 6 years, all we were able to get from our resources and could not take us outside the problems, could not solve that problem for us until we got a bullet fund to actually acquire all that we needed. And that is why, if we are talking of recommendation, I would more than recommend Bank of Industry for organizations to assess, because the terms and the rate, the process is what we actually need.